Miss Suzanne really said, class is in session. You all are not getting it. Hello everyone, my name's Emily. Today we are going to be reviewing the, in my opinion, most highly anticipated release this year, Sunrise on the Reaping, a prequel to The Hunger Games. So we have a lot to talk about. Like all my other reviews, we're going to keep the first initial thoughts kind of general. We'll talk it through spoiler free, then we'll go into the spoilers with characters, plot, notable quotes, all that jazz. Let's get into it. Also, I forgot to note, outfit is inspired by Woody Harrelson's 2015 Red Carpet Mockingjay 2 premiere look. Enjoy. I will note, normally with these anticipated reads that I am planning on reviewing, I read them in one sitting or at least 2 sittings. I read this one in 2 sittings, but a week apart, because I just knew what was gonna come at the end, and I was like, what I don't know can't hurt me. Some of the details are not as fresh in my brain. Just as a quick disclaimer, if like I forget someone's name or a detail or whatever, I feel like this is a book I'm definitely gonna have to reread and really sit down and reanalyze everything, just because there was so much. There were so many references to other books. There was so much commentary on our current environment, like the real life application to what is happening right now in Trump's America is insane. For anyone that says book talk isn't political or books aren't political, please just see yourself out the door. Let's get into it though. This was crazy. So Sunrise on the Reaping follows haymitch's games. He was part of the second quarter quell, which involved twice the amount of tributes. So instead of 24 kids, there were 48. That's insane. And obviously, if you haven't read the Hunger Games trilogy, this is not a spoiler. I saw people getting upset about this. Haymitch wins because he's alive in the Hunger Games, so clearly he wins his games, and he's also a victor, so like, yes. The pacing I thought was really well done. At first I was like, the backstory with Haymitch and like how he grew up and his family situation, I was like, okay, this is so interesting. But throughout the entire book, I know this book Suzanne had wanted to speak on propaganda, but it's just so crazy to hear about everything from Haymitch's perspective and what we actually then find out, like what actually happened compared to like what we were told in the Hunger Games. Like, we already had our unreliable narrator with Katniss, but it was just crazy to see like in what we find out what the Capitol was censoring about Haymitch's games. And like, oh my gosh, there were also so many characters that like, sometimes this can go like one way or another with me, where I'm like, for example, King of Sin series right now, Anna Huang's, I'm like sick of all the other characters getting pulled in. I'm like, okay, we're just using them at this point to just like reference them. Like, I'm over it. Do we really not know anyone else in this world? But Miss Suzanne pulls in all these different characters from other books that like are very important characters, and I'm like, can we relax? Like, we don't, a slight spoiler, this is gonna make like Catching Fire even more like hard to read and watch now, knowing Haymitch's connection with a lot of these people. But before we get into all the specifics, pacing was great. I don't think there's as much subtlety in Sunrise on the Reaping as there is in A Ballad of Songbirds, Snakes and Songbirds, or The Hunger Games. I think she was very much screaming, yelling at us, this is what's happening, get it through your heads type situation. I think a lot of people need that blatantly thrown in their face. Book cover, stunning, beautiful. We love when the book cover has items of importance in it that you find out and you learn what they're about more. Crazy. I can't really think of anything else generally to talk about because I want to just talk about the specifics. So let's get into it. If you don't want to get spoiled, make sure to save this video, come back and watch it later. Otherwise, we're going to talk about characters. There are so many characters. that I want to talk about. So we're just going to have to run through them. I'm going to try to keep it to like haymitch, family, friends, contestants, and then we're going to say like capital mentor figures. So obviously haymitch. I loved how much of a little schemer he was. I also loved that he like already was questioning the system, but still also like kind of in the place of like he had to experience quite a lot of injustice before he really was like, all right, let's F some shit up. I love his little role as scoundrel very much. I was like, it makes sense how he was able to mentor Peeta so well to like play up a role, and also with Katniss too, even though him and Katniss are the same, that's why I don't get along as much. But like play up the role, he played up the scoundrel role, this naughty little kid who makes like alcohol illegally, and he's just a little troublemaker, and he knew how to play the crowd, and he was very good at that. He was also very intelligent. This is more plot related, but the fact he was involved specifically in an attempted rebellion, that's crazy. We didn't know anything about that. I know they all were like, oh, he outsmarted the Capitol with the force field. He did not. He literally tried to create a bomb and blow up the arena. Like the fact we didn't know about that, the fact that even though like he assisted with another rebellion, obviously with Katniss's, that like the truth of that never came out because it was censored so much. That's crazy. That right there is like, the government will censor and manipulate stories just to push whatever agenda they need. Hello? Anyway, haymitch, we love him. Poor guy was going through it. Suzanne, how dare you make his birthday on Raven Day, July 4th? Okay, what does that say? I love how blatant she is at like, oh yes, July 4th, our patriotic day of independence. Let's make it the same day as the annual reaping. Yeah. Not so land of the free or great. haymitch was a poor guy, and then he had no one. Can he not be happy? Can he not have something? It's fine. We're fine. Okay, let's talk about Lenore Dove, our little Covey girl, who's also a little rebellion girl. She gave off a like more like whimsical, rebellious Lucy Gray vibes to me. I thought she was so interesting. I honestly kind of wish we knew more about her rebellion side or rebellious side. And then when like haymitch put the pieces together that Maisley knew that she was like one of the ones like defiling capital propaganda, and like she's like, she'd say things around haymitch and be like, she can get in trouble for that. I adored her. Her death took me the most by surprise with how it happened, and we're gonna get into that more, but also her name's so pretty, Lenore Dove, and I just wanted her and haymitch to be happy, but it's fine. We already know he is now one because the capital took everyone from him. It's fine. Other characters, Sid, haymitch's brother, he was so innocent and cute, just another victim of a terrible authoritarian government. haymitch's mom, honestly don't know much about her besides she's very strong because she was taking care of 2 kids all by herself because her husband died. And she got taken away. Let's get into the tributes. No, actually, let's get into the mentors, and then we'll get into tributes because I have more to say about the tributes. How dare you, Suzanne, bring Mags and Wyrus and Beatty in? I like was anticipating like some like no name random people being brought up. No, since there are no victors for 12, Mags and Wyrus were assigned to 12, so we like got to know them so much better than when we knew them in Catching Fire, and they were both so sweet and kind. And the way like we learned more about like how Wyrus won her games, where it was all mirrors and she like outsmarted everyone because she found the one like blind spot. Another like F you to the Capitol right there. Mags, I don't remember how she won. Did I talk about that much? I assume it had something to do with like her like career District 4 fishing water ass skills. And then Beatty's literally like This is the second quarter quell. This is the 50th year of this. And he's like staging a rebellion with his own son who got thrown into the mix because he got caught trying to like hijack the system. And then he's getting haymitch in on this. And this is the 50th year. Katniss doesn't come in till the 74th year. 24 years go by in between these. How many failed rebellions were there? How many were there before this? I need all of them. I need a breakdown of every single one. Oh my gosh. And it wasn't like they were like, oh, random like names thrown in there. They were like heavily involved with haymitch's games. And now they're all dead. It's like because of catching fire in the third quarter quell. Well, Beatty's alive. I lied. I just forgot one. It's fine. It's fine. Our other capital members though, Drusilla is like the like Effie. Effie takes her position. She's like the, I don't know what position this is, but she like calls the tributes names, and she's like married in a weird relationship with their stylist Magno. I don't get that relationship. That whole thing was, I was like, you guys need to just get divorced. What? Stop bringing us into your family drama. Okay. They were interesting characters. The fact that the like university students were their stylists and they were getting graded on this, and literally like, I understand like, oh, we gotta do well in our class, but like you're literally designing these kids' costumes to market them, and then they're gonna go off each other. Hello? Just like the like almost class differential there, like where are our priorities at type situation, you know? Let's talk about the tributes. I know there were mentions of like Katniss, obviously in the epilogue, but like the Everdeens and then the Malarks. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, we know these people. We know all these people. Get them out of here, please. Like, this is already tough enough to read. Oh my gosh. But let's go through the tributes. So District 12 had 4, obviously. Haymitch, Luella, who literally didn't even make it to the games because she died when she was thrown from the chariot during the parade. And then they replaced her with some rebel's kid. And they literally like reprogrammed her so she thought she was Luella. And no one knew about it because they just changed the tape and everything over the recording, what people saw. And Haymitch was like, this person is literally not who you think it is. This is literally manufactured like evidence of what they want you to think. That's insane. It literally, once again, another commentary on how the government will manipulate and even manufacture evidence to push their agendas and control the narrative. And her and Haymitch were going to be allies. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Then Wyatt, I had mixed feelings about. He was like part of this family that was really into gambling, and just the irony that the family that would like gamble or be very heavily involved in gambling, one of their sons was thrown into the mix, but the capital also was gambling, and it seemed almost like, I know Haymitch had issues with both, but the interesting like narrative of like, oh, you're also poor and you're like betting against your fellow poor people, but the capital, like they're already nasty, is just expected of them. Something interesting to say there. I haven't quite, like I said, there's a lot for me to reflect on and I haven't quite wrapped my head around it, but I thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay, interesting there. And then Maisley, the infamous Maisley we heard so much about, and now we finally see her, the like a little bit more like poshy girl from District 12, from a more well-off family, and a little bit snooty, but I like loved her character, like a little snooty girl who can bite back and isn't afraid to get dirty. Her death felt personal. Hers and Ampert's death. I know like Haymitch was like these mutts, which we'll talk about, felt very specific to them, and it felt very personal. Interesting. Other notable characters, Haymitch's doves from District 8, District 9, District 10, I don't remember which ones, but these little sweet kids. I think Welly was one of them. He was at the end. Or she was at the end? I don't remember. And then the careers versus the non-careers, because they're like, you know, if we all band together, statistically, like, they're always advertised as like, oh, they're always the winners, they're most likely to win. But it really shows, like, when we come together against, like, this unified force who's, like, seen as a power figure, they can get the job done. Another commentary on our current state. Ampert, Petey's kid, or poor little boy, oh my gosh. He was like the Rue to me. Well, or maybe Haymitch's Dubs, he calls them, are more the Rue. But I was like, our sweet boy who literally, like, Beatty has to watch his own son go and fight. And it's fine. It's fine. This poor little boy's, like, literally going in knowing he's going to his death. And he's like, I'm going to try to create a rebellion if I can because my dad asked me to. It's fine. Only other notable character I'm thinking of now is Plutarch and Snow, obviously. Plutarch, interesting character. I, like, get being on the inside, being able to play the game, take them down, and it did help having him on the inside eventually in the third quarter quell, but, like, he's an interesting character. I think there's a lot that we can do to dive into him. Like, honestly, I'd be interested to learn more about him as well. And Snow's just been a snake. I know, like, in a ballad of songbirds and snake and songbirds, or snakes, whatever, the other prequel, some people said it humanized Snow more. I don't think it did. I think he's been crazy and evil. And I honestly, I feel like Sunrise on the Reaping is Suzanne's reminder because of all the people that simped over him. She's like, this is who you're simping over. So yeah, let's get into the plot because I've been yapping about characters. There's just so many. There was so much, and this is definitely something I'm gonna have to, like, reread, unpack again. I'm just gonna try to go through, like, the things that stood out to me the most throughout the entire book. So just from the start, Haymitch's commentary on being an LGBTQIA plus ally. And the fact I saw someone rate this book a 1-star because they're like, there was no need to bring LGBT into it. So I'm like, that's where you drew the line? This book that was written about, like, governments manipulating and controlling their citizens and creating this class divide and maintaining that power, and kids unaliving and fighting to their death. But you draw the line at the gays. That's okay. No, you're now banned from reading Suzanne Collins's books if that's how you're gonna be. But the fact that Haymitch is out here already being a little rebellious, like helping Hattie with her white liquor production. Also, I thought she was gonna get unalived. I was nervous for her as well. But they just took Sid, Haymitch's mom and Lenore. It's fine. We're fine. But that was, I love his little, like, already rebellious streak, and he's already like a escape into the woods guy. The reaping did not go as I thought. One, his birthday's on the reaping. On reaping day, it's fine. That's actually so rude. He's like, I just always know that when there's a reaping day, that's my birthday. Whenever it's my birthday, there's a reaping day. They're both inevitable. And he's kind of in that state of acceptance. But the fact he didn't even get called, I did not see that coming. And the fact that the kid who did get called and then got took out, and they were treating him just like an animal, like the dead body. And Lenore got involved, and then Haymitch was defending Lenore. And the fact that they, like, just unfairly chose him. They're like, we're gonna punish you because you stood up against us, and now you're in the games. I think that's another very much blatant, in your face, we don't like that you're challenging us, so we're gonna punish you and silence you. Does it sound familiar? It's so in our face. It's literally, she could not be more obvious about this. But then we get into the prep where we're like the interviews and kind of figure out how are they all going to spin their different stories so they get sponsors. And we learn, and Haymitch doesn't like Maisley because she's a snooty girl. He's going to already team up with Luella at this point. They're like, we are in it together. Why? It's kind of like weird. It was just already like, it was just the acceptance of like, this is how it is. We're going to go in there and fight. Oh well. I think one of the biggest or one of the most monumental points pre-games was the chariot parade, where something went haywire where literally it was like fan interference, I'm gonna call it, the audience interference, that there was a firework that scared with the horses for the chariot, District 12 chariot, through Luella, and she died. And none of the Capitol members or audience members said anything, literally witnessed this happening. And the Capitol just finds a replacement for Luella, who they call Lulu, to different, or like the tributes call her Lulu, to differentiate her. And she's been like hijacked to believe that she's Luella, but she's a kid of a rebel and is clearly being punished. I saw someone online, which I'm like, why this fandom could not know peace. I saw someone online and they were like, do you think when haymitch saw hijacked PETA, he wondered if that was actually the real PETA? Can we not know any peace in this fandom? Please. Please. Anyway, that was crazy. Just another like blatant, like the government will spin the story, do whatever they need to make sure everyone stays in line, and they control the narrative. Even though haymitch is like, what the F? And the other's like, that's not her. Hello. And then they still were compassionate and took her in and protected her. And so it was fine. I'm not really remembering much else pre-games because once again, I read I read 90% of this a week ago, so it's not as fresh, so forgive me for that. But let's talk about the games. So they're kind of in this like magical, very seemingly utopia land. There's like meadows and mountains and it's beautiful. Only thing I'll know, I guess, leading up to this was like, I changed my mind. Pre-games, BD is more involved with haymitch. She's like, hey, you in on this rebellion, this is what you need to do. haymitch's token is a gift from Lenore. It's a flint striker and you can help create a bomb and everything. And then he's like, my son Ampert is in on it. And then there's the whole like non-career alliance building up, and there's like a lot of solidarity there. And Maisley plays a big part where like she is very much into her jewelry, that's her thing, and she starts like making like necklaces for the other kids, and that's how they get a lot of the people in the alliance. And then it was interesting, there was the group, I think it was District 9, who like refused to choose a side, career versus non-career, proved to be very ineffective for them. Maybe something else we could also say about our current state when people try to be neutral in more cases than just political parties and whatnot. It's fine. But we get into the games, and haymitch is like, I think the air is drugs because everything feels so beautiful and whatnot. And he's like very much like was mentored well by Wyrus and Max, and they're like, run away, get a weapon, find water, find food, find shelter. I don't know if that's the exact order, but he finds a river and he like starts to drink water, but then he sees this rabbit drinking the water and it dies. He realizes some of this food and water in this arena are drugs, so he has to like force himself to get sick. And it's just a whole thing where he originally was going to be part of the non-career pack, but then he's like, if I need to do this whole like rebellious act for BD with Ampert, I need to distance myself from the group so they don't get in trouble or anything. So he kind of like goes off on his own. And then he runs into Lulu, who we find out Wyatt died defending, which is so sad. And she's like getting these random flashbacks of who she actually is. Like she got really attached to like a snake that Magno had used to unethically want to like dress them. And that was weird. But then like she like finds these like this bush of flowers, I think, and it's poisonous, and she dies that way. And it just felt like this arena, I know the movie's coming out next year, and I'm like, I'm gonna be nervous like with these CGI skills. And it felt like honestly the main thing unaliving the tributes was more so the arena and the mutts rather than the actual tributes itself, despite there being like twice the amount of tributes. haymitch is doing his best to survive. He's like, I need to find a mutt portal because that's where there's going to be a water tank that he can try to flood the arena. And there are these butterflies that like electric shock him. He finds them. He's able to get away, runs into Ampert, and he's like, Ampert, this is where it is. He gets in, floods the place, and it's like somehow not enough But then when he comes out of the like portal, Ampert's getting eaten alive by carnivorous squirrels. He tries to fight him off, but it's very obvious that these squirrels were going after Ampert. Literally an attack on Beatty right there. That was so... Ampert's death was probably the saddest one in my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, our boy! It's fine. And then he's trudging along. He's lost like Lulu at this point, lost Ampert, runs into Maisley, and she's like holding her own. She developed her own like poisonous dart gun, and they have a little alliance, and they have such a heartfelt moment where he's like, I actually lost, like, I used to have sisters, but they died, and you're kind of a sister to me. It's fine. Obviously, we know there's only one Victor, but they had such a heartfelt moment. They run into more non-careers, and she's kind of like, why are you? Because he was like, okay, I did the portal, but he knew that if he got to, I think, the edge of the arena, he could like blow it up that way with the bomb. So he's like, we gotta head north, because that's where Beatty told him, I think, one of the power supplies was. And she's like, why are we going north? Like, what? Why don't we go look for the others? He's like, no, we gotta go north. And they run into like these like other non-careers who are experiencing issues with like poisonous porcupines, and they can't save them. They run into some of the careers and they fight, and haymitch and Maisley kill some of them. And I don't know why I remembered or thought that haymitch didn't kill anyone. I swear in the other books they were like, he outsmarted everyone and he just used the force field. So clearly either my memory's wrong or we were told incorrect things. Which is more likely. See, I'm biased, but we'll have to just reread and find out. But the fact that he like found the force field, he's like, whoa, wait, this is crazy. And there were like ladybugs or something with it. I forgot the detail of that, but that's how you knew you're near the force field. He finds that. He's like, wait, interesting. But like in his mind, he wasn't really like, how can I use this to my advantage? Like they made him seem out to be. He's just like, well, this is bizarre. This is like, there's a force field here. But Maisley gets killed by these like carnivorous birds. And I'm like, why are there so many scary mutts in this? I'm like nervous for the movie because I'm like, there's a lot of deadly mutts in this one. And her death was sad. I think I wasn't as sad for her death because I knew it was coming. Obviously we knew like all the tributes were, but how it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, what the F? And it ends with haymitch then finding one of his doves. Oh, this was so sad. I think his name was Welly, or her name was Welly. And he's like, and she was so scared. She's like, don't leave me, don't leave me. He's like, okay, I just gotta go somewhere. And then the last career beheads her, and like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like clearly like a product of your environment, you're taught to do this. I get it, you're a child, but like, oh my gosh. And he makes her and her axe fighting. She throws the axe, it whips back and kills her. But that's where I thought the whole like, oh, the rebellious act ended. Haymitch had created the bomb and threw it at the force field and created a mini earthquake. And he thought he died. And that was never touched on anywhere else. That's crazy. That literally haymitch did something like he got in trouble for the force field, they made it sound like, but not the bomb he created. Because they didn't want people to know like, oh yeah, he did that. And then just everything after that, it was just a spiral of bad news after bad news when he came home to his house on fire and Sid and his mom being burned alive, and then Lenore's death with the gumdrops. And Snow had said that, like, I forgot what he'd said about something, but like he looked at them and they were like blood red, and he's like, those are poisoned. And then she died, and I forgot to mention she was also like being held captive because she said something, I don't know, she's been saying rebellious things, but now they decided to detain her. I don't know why. Hers, I think, was the worst, just because I was like, they're finally reunited, and then it's snatched right out from them. And then haymitch falls into his drunken self antics. Ugh. And I do like how, like, I was so sad how it ended, where he's like, and now every reaping day, I can just think of Sid saying, happy birthday, haymitch. Can this man not know any peace? Oh my God. I'm meant to reread Hunger Games and now like really think about his perspective a lot more. But I like how the epilogue ended like after the fact of everything, with like him knowing Katniss and Peeta and kind of reflecting on them. I thought that was a cute little full circle moment. Since I have been yapping away, let's talk about quotes. First quote. Oh, this is just a little memento to the title. So Lenore and Haymitch are talking, and Haymitch is like, because the reaping's going to happen no matter what I believe, sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, because sunrise on the reaping. He's like, the sun will always rise and the reaping will always happen. But it doesn't, because we finally have a successful rebellion. Oh, this next one just so... Oh, this was crazy. I forgot about this. So obviously the reaping's on his birthday, and it's his 16th. And after he gets chosen and everything, nominated, they're trying to make him feel better. And Haymitch's mind, he's like, I'm entirely the Capitol's plaything. They will use me for their entertainment and then kill me, and the truth will have no say in it. Plutarch acts friendly, but his indulgences, my family's goodbyes, his fancy sandwiches, are just a method to manage me, because happy playthings are easier to handle than raging ones. To get his footage, he'll indulge me right into the arena. That's something I didn't talk as much about, and why I think Plutarch is just an interesting character is he's involved in like the marketing, the videography behind everything, and he's like, I want you, like he would literally try to manufacture reactions to the reapings. He's with like the tributes families as they were trying to say goodbyes. That's crazy. That's manipulative, which is why like it just doesn't sit right with me. I get trying to be on the inside, but I'm like, these people are like human beings too. Hello. But anyway, as if to confirm this, the door to the sitting room bursts open and revealed Tibby, his face aglow with the 16 candles on a giant birthday cake. They literally like tried to give Haymitch a cake for his birthday on reaping day. That's crazy. Oh, this is just our introduction to Virus, and I'm like, and then our introduction to Max, and then our introduction to Petey. Oh, this next one I did not talk about. This was crazy. This is like, I feel like the Capitol just trying to like figure out what the best way to play these things are. So they get their scores. Like, you know, they have their little, they show off their talents. I honestly don't remember what Haymitch did. Did we go through that? I don't remember if we talked about that. But Maisley and White get 6s. Lulu, hijacked Luella, gets a 3. And they give Haymitch a 1. And it's like unheard of. And it reminds me of how like Katniss and Peeta got 11s in Catching Fire because they wanted to put a target on their back. But like literally the Capitol was like, this, we don't even like, they're like, this guy is like dumb. Even though it had the opposite effect. They're like, who gets a 1? What'd they do to like make the Capitol mad? That was crazy. Oh, this next one is just really showcasing propaganda. And Haymitch is like freaking out about how the reaping in 12 went down. Like the boy that was originally called, instead of Haymitch tried to run away, they shot him. They shot other people in 12. Like they unfairly chose Haymitch, but they manufactured to look like his name got pulled. How crazy. And Haymitch is like, I want to scream out the truth. The boy's head was blown off. People in 12 are shot. My reaping was rigged. But I just sit there mute and radiating implicit submission. Snow has me by the short hairs, and he knows it. Oh my gosh. Oh, I also forgot that when Haymitch met Snow, Snow was like obviously sick, and he's like, give me some milk. He needs some milk. And like Haymitch rebelled and just like drank the milk. And he's like, oh, oops. And he beat it. Oh yeah, I forgot about this part. Oh my gosh, wait, this is why I included this. So like he's watching the recap of his games, but they're showing deaths and things in different orders, but there's like blatant evidence of like, they show someone's death, but then later they show them alive, and he's like, does no one recall this? Like, is no one like calling out this blatant propaganda? Suzanne's she's just so obvious with it. I don't know how much more blatant she can be with like your government is shoving propaganda down your throat, and they have been. In my opinion, it's through our media, it's through the movies we watch, especially like the amount of military funding connected to superhero movies, just right there. Like commercials, the ones about like armed forces specifically really taking off, and pharmaceuticals. It's just such a weird vibe to me, but that's not necessarily our, like, America. It's everywhere. It's the way it's our history. It's the fact that we like are led to believe America's this great company. I mean, but isn't that what we are at the end of the day right now? We're just a way to keep the rich rich and the poor poor. I can get into a whole thing with this, but she's just so obvious about it. I don't like, if people that like literally say books aren't political, go back to school, please. It is literally a privilege to be able to read. If you're a woman, it is a privilege to be able to read. Like, they don't want us reading or becoming educated. Anyway, the next one, oh my god. It's just Lenore's death, and when he's realizing they are from snow. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. And then our last one, oh, Lucy Gray being met. Oh, the fact they talked about Lucy Gray, because she was like the first victor from 12, but like no one talks about her, just shows how much the government will erase things. People will, this is why it's important to have physical media and to have things backed up, because stories will be twisted, narratives will be retold. They literally erased Lucy Gray from like existence, even though that's 12's only victor. Like, you'd think they'd all know about her, but she's mentioned here. Oh my gosh, wow. I'm like still processing this. There's just so much. I'm gonna go back through and reprocess all of this, but like for the time being, let's just sit with this together. I think Suzanne cannot be more blatant about what she's trying to say, and she has always said that when she has something to say, she will write a book. I'm still kind of hoping for a Finnick game, but because there's so much material she can continue to comment on right now. It was just a crazy read. I think this might be my third favorite book of the entire series. It's still gonna go Catching Fire, Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, Mockingjay, a ballad. It's clearly my least favorite because I can't even remember the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. I just hated snow. But what a read. What a time to be alive. What a privilege it is to be reading her books. Let me know what you guys thought. I'm gonna still be processing this for months until the movie comes out, and then I'm gonna freak out over it all over again. To see the more behind the scenes, what I'm reading, follow my Goodreads Storygraph. I'll probably be chatting away there. And then be sure to follow my Instagram, TikTok. I'm posting much more behind the scenes, what's going on in my life. I'm running a marathon, or I'm training to run a marathon. I have so many fun travel plans coming up. Lots of bookish videos for you to check out, so be sure to subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And we're gonna all just go, let's just all go cry together. And take what Suzanne is trying to tell us and do something about it, please. Please. All right. Bye, guys.